Anyway, folks, I think I've gone on about long enough tonight. If you have any questions for the show for next week, you can tune in. You can send them to my email address, SherryTalkRadio@yahoo.com. During the week, you can send in questions. Sometimes I tend to look at questions before the show, and then during the show, I totally skip over the question. I miss it. Because I already looked at it once before, and so it's not highlighted. I tend to click on the highlighted emails. And so if you don't see me answering an email that you sent for the show, then resend it during the show. Here's one that I read before the show. Could iPods be the image of the beast or eventually be used for that purpose? I have noticed that young people are all wearing small, high-definition screen devices. Yeah, these iPods, cell phones, Palm Pilots. Yeah, I mean, it's an observation. It's a good one. You have to wonder how they're going to enforce worship of the beast. How are they going to enforce this worship of the beast? Because, folks, you know what? It's not the fact that if you refuse the chip that they're going to kill you. It's the fact that if you refuse to worship the beast that they're going to kill you. Now, if you look at Revelation chapter 13, the false prophet, this Jesus Christ, Sananda coming, goes by Asu Emmanuel. His job is to enforce worship of the beast and chip implantations. So it's not if you refuse a chip implant, they'll kill you. It's if you refuse to worship the beast. And so how are they going to enforce that? How are they going to enforce that? You gotta wonder if it has something to do with those little screen devices. You know, what's this, Maitreya or somebody gonna appear on screen during the day and then demand that you bow down and worship to him? And how's he gonna enforce that? You know, you gotta wonder. Not for the obvious fact that most of them are used as, microwave radiation devices to destroy and kill you. Beam you with microwave weapons while you're on the phone. But yeah, I think it all has something far more to do with the coming worship of the beast and how they're going to enforce that. Hey Sherry, any new info on the attack on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base by the New World Order freaks? I believe it was one of your codes. What would be the reason for this? Hope you have a gift for you soon. You know what? I sent that to Ken Welch today. There was a code I posted on my website at hiddencodes.com. Must have been 3 or 4 years ago that I just stumbled on. Stumbled on myself on my own site years later. Because I was talking to Ken last month. I was saying, Dayton's coming up in the codes. I don't know why Dayton, Ohio is coming up in the codes. Because I was trying to help him out, figure out when these next false flag operations were going to happen. These false flag attacks. If you don't know Ken Welch, Ken/Welch, WELCH.com, he does reverse speaking. And that's something I'm familiar with. I have the software to do that, and I know how to do it. I just don't have the time. It's going to be either that or Bible codes, because Bible codes take hundreds of hours a week as it is. I certainly don't have time for reverse speech. And I had some fun with reverse speech. I used to do it on myself all the time and get a kick out of what I was hearing. Because I wasn't hearing anything that was true, that wasn't true. It was just funny, because if you reverse speech me, I'm talking about how Satan's a loser and how they're going to lose, and stuff I would say in normal speech. So it was really kind of funny. So I just got back into the Bible codes, but I was talking to Ken Welch, sent him this code that I did, and I posted it at hiddencodes.com, put it back at the front of the site because it was buried down the bottom somewhere. But about Dayton, what it looked like to me is that there's going to be a mutiny in the military. And I posted this 3 or 4 years ago, and now you read about it online about how the top military officials are getting ready to revolt against the Bush administration because they don't want to go to war with Iran. They vigorously resist this needless war with Iran. It might be a revolt. And then I'm seeing Dayton stumbling in the codes, and then all of a sudden, boom, I stumble on my old code that I posted 4 years ago about a mutiny in the military and Dayton getting attacked for that, retaliated for that. So something going on with that. I would have to dig back in the code now because it's been so long, it's been years. And when I post codes, I just post terms so you can see them. I don't necessarily post the entire story of what the entire code is saying. And so I would need to get back into that. But I found that interesting because Dayton definitely having something to do with Bush and the coming mutiny. They're either behind it or the ones that are being retaliated by Bush because of it. One or the other. That's what I wanted to go back and look at. Because I think I say one thing on the codes page that they're being retaliated against, but I would like to go back and look at that again, because it's my belief that Dayton, right, Air Force Base, whatever, is a heavy reptilian base. I mean, I believe Dayton's just one of these alien hybrid centers that's just dominant, and if you live in Dayton, you're going to want to get orgone out. Every time I've gone to Dayton, by the time I get there, I'm out of orgone because I go through Indianapolis, and Lord knows they needed it. And these projects, I mean, they just take thousands and thousands of dollars worth of orgone, just the supplies to make it, to go on missions. And by the time I get to certain areas that need it, I'm totally out, like Dayton. And so I've been through Dayton a couple of times and have never had the orgone to get it, the area myself. And so if you live in the Dayton area, you want to orgone that place, because it's an underground base there. It's not just an Air Force base. And we all know that that's where they store UFO, crashed UFOs, things like that, dead aliens, stuff like that. But it's also some kind of hybrid area base thing. They do a lot more than the public know. So I think it's more of a stronghold of Bush's. Because if they also didn't they have the Oslo Accord signing there back in '93 with Clinton? I think it's an alien base. So I don't know if they would be against or for Bush. I need to relook at that code. But I just found it interesting that Dayton's popping up in the codes again when we have Bush so desperately trying to steal nukes from a no Air Force base. They want nukes so they can do whatever they want with them. People think it has to do with bombing cities in Iraq so they can blame it on Iran. And I think and that might be so. That might be so. Another thing to look at is he doesn't have his buddy Putin over in Russia anymore to go ahead and bomb 4 cities here. And that's what they want. They want bombings here. I mean, they've been instigating and inciting Iran for years, because Iran came out with a position, first strike, that they weren't going to be taken by surprise at war with the United States, that they would strike America first if they thought they were going to have a war with America, that they would strike first. And so for years we've seen Bush inciting them. Come on, come get us. We're gonna bomb you guys. He sits here and wags a carrot in front of them. We're gonna bomb you, waiting for them to go ahead and take a preemptive position that they've always said they would. He wants them to bomb America. And you know what? From what I've seen in the codes, it's gonna be a real disaster. Because when you look in the codes for 2009, and you look at American cities, and then they've got missiles and bombs, they've got Iran behind all of them. And I'm reading something online today about Iran having 11,000 missiles. Yeah, you better believe they've got missiles. They've got them from the Russians. They can hit any American city. And you've got Bush sitting there wagging at them and inciting them to go ahead and bomb America, simply because he wants to get into Iran. And I don't think he really wants to get into Iran. I don't know what his game plan is, as much as it's just working with Maitreya and being an ally with the alien agenda, because he's definitely an ally with them. And so it's all just a wars, death, destruction. That's, so you don't know which one to look at next, which one to analyze next, because there's so many different ones. And all you can do is try to put pieces in the puzzle and analyze what they're doing in the here and now, because next week their plans can change. But some things are consistent, some things will never change. The Lord is going to wipe them all off the earth, destroy Satan and all of his forces off of the earth. That will never change. That is a definite. And that is what we wait for, and that's what we're working as his warriors for, to help him do what he needs done now. And so that definites are definites. Definites will always stay definites. Anyway, until next week, everybody, y'all bless.